Hi y'all, welcome back to more fun fishing. I've went to one spot already this morning. Didn't do very good, so I decided to try another spot. So we'll see what happens here. Sorry about not having any video last couple of days. I've been catching a lot of fish, but my cell phone's at the bottom of Lake Barkley. I had some great video, man. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe the video I had. I was catching some monster red ear. Hung into one. That thing, he was so big, he took me all the way to the back of the boat. I was afraid he was going to get hung up in my outboard. And on the way back to get him, I hit my cell phone, and guess where it went? All the way to the bottom of the lake. Now we're checking out, seeing how this new phone's going to function for us this morning. This is the premiere of the new phone. So I'm fishing in a spot that most people would just say, nah, there ain't no fish there. It's right next to where they launch the boats, so we may have to pack up and move off and on. But I was out here, there he is, first cast. We'll see what he's like here. It's there's a little shallow flat. It's got a good, nice little drop off on it, and it's held a lot of fish last couple of days. But we'll just see what happens today. Can't guarantee that we'll get it. That's why they call it fishing, not catching. So hopefully I'll have some good video today. That's the key. And actually, this is the first time I fished this week that the wind's not blowing 90 miles an hour. There sure is a lot of big boats on the water today. I can't believe this. During the week, I guess what I'm seeing is a lot of these big bass boats. On Kentucky and Barkley Lakes, you have a tournament every weekend. And evidently this must be a big tournament because there's a lot of big boats and trucks. And oh my gosh, can't believe that. I've got like 4 hits. The only disadvantage about me fishing right here is that everybody comes to this marina, gets to see where I'm fishing and what I'm doing. But fortunately, not everybody has my lures. Every time I cast it in there, I'm getting a hit. So there's fish there. They may be acting up due to the storms that's supposed to be coming in tomorrow. We're supposed to have some pretty hefty storms from what I understand. So we'll see what happens. There he is. Had a good little hit there, and then just all of a sudden it just stopped. They're being a tad bit finicky this morning. Maybe they're not all the way awake yet. There he is. Yeah, that's it. All he was doing was just sucking on it. Hey, this one feels like he might have some weight to him. We'll just have to check him out. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that thing. That is a nice little bluegill. He's not a monster, but he is nice. I caught some in here yesterday. That was so big you couldn't get your hand around them. Those are what I call nice fish. There he is. Yep, I know. I don't know how big this one is. It don't look like he's quite as big. It's kind of aggravating. Yeah, little female. We got a little pooch. They are getting ready to start spawning any day now. Fortunately, I gotta go back to work on Monday. I would love to be out here. Oh, man, are you serious? There he is. Oh, lost him again. Now that's it. If that jig does that again, we're going to change lead heads. A lot of times you got to be real careful. These lead heads, those hooks sometimes they get a little bit dull. And if they start getting dull, you need to either sharpen it or change it. A lot of times these little hooks, they're really hard to sharpen. There's a hit. Well, dang. You know, I get every so often I'll watch some of these videos where they show these people fishing and dock owners come out and tell them they're not allowed to fish there because they own the water. And fortunately, we all own the water, whether they like it or not. They may own the dock, but they don't own the water around it. Anywhere that you can get to by boat, it's navigable. That means that you can fish it. So don't ever let anybody tell you you can't fish someplace. I'm fishing right by these docks, and they have a boat ramp here. And these people run them things up, and they run them back, and they rev up those engines really high. And you would think that these fish wouldn't even be here, but man, I don't know if it's because the propeller stirs up the water. But I mean, within 5 minutes after they load or unload, I can generally go over and start catching fish. And yesterday I was over there, I was just tearing up those great big bluegill off of that boat ramp. Now that's a big female. Yeah. What I normally do with these females is I turn them loose. I don't like turning loose fish, and this is a nice female, but she's just loaded with eggs. So as long as I can put her back in the water, that means hopefully I'll have more bluegill to catch in the future. Like right now, my boat's sitting in 14 foot, and I'm casting in about 4 to 5 foot. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to catch these fish on this outer edge before I move into that more shallow water. I'm hoping these bigger fish are out here at this deeper edge. So far, it seems to be working. It's not every cast, but I still be having fun. Another female. These females may be sitting on the edge. And they're swallowing that hook faster than I can get it out. Yep, here comes the wind again. Yesterday I fought that wind so much, I mean it just wore me out. And I know people say, oh, you've got a foot control trolling motor. Yeah, but sometimes you're twisting and turning all different kinds of positions just to get that boat just right. And then one little catch, or You have to retie a jig. You have to recatch everything, you know. Ah, man. Oh, right at the boat. Let's turn that boat, face that wind a little bit. Let's see what happens here. There he is. Oh, there he was. They're just kind of short striking it. Usually when they're doing that, that means they're being finicky because the weather change is coming. They're just kind of hitting it, trying to knock it off that bed and not actually taking it. Yeah, that's all they're doing. Just peck, 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 peck. I mean, it's just every hit. There he is, finally. Oh yeah, he's whipping out a little bit of drag. Now that's a nice fish. Make it in my live well, buddy. Look at that big old bluegill. My buddy was with me yesterday, and when we first pulled into that first spot, he was so disgusted because every cast I was bringing in a fish. That poor fella, he couldn't win a bite. And then finally, we left out of there. He's having trouble with the reel, line looping because that wind's blowing so hard. A lot of times these little jigs, they have a devil of a time in the wind. And finally we moved over here, and that's when the magic started. I mean, he was catching fish. It was nice. We were catching fish and caught so many that there he is. Oh yeah. I was looking at the live well and it was getting dark. If your live well starts looking dark and you start having fish floating, it's time to leave. This looks like another female. Yeah, man, these females are moving in. They are definitely moving in. Moving in to set up shop. All right, let's see what happens here. There's a hit. I have to admit, I may not be catching one on every cast, but they're definitely hitting it every cast. I was getting ready to go over towards that boat ramp. Don't ever pass up a boat ramp. A lot of people, they're like, boat ramps are no good to fish. I've caught some of my biggest bass off of a boat ramp. And I mean, that's right where they're loading and unloading boats. I've caught some big bass on a boat ramp. And then, of course, the bluegill and red ear tend to bed right there by a boat ramp. Now, I don't know if it's because, like I said earlier, as they load the trailer in, the tires get in the water, stir the water up. Oh, that's a nice hit. Sometimes you have to just kind of keep your options open. Don't just be, oh, I have to fish a certain spot. Be open to change. That's how a fisherman catches fish. You got to be open to change. And what we're going to do is flip this right here by the boat. See what happens. Gonna be a little close. Oh, right there at the boat. Are you serious? Those fish are here. It's just taking a little bit more to work them out. There's a hit. I mean, right here by the boat, I think what they're doing, they're sitting right on this drop off. Let's try a different tactic here. We're going to cast right along the edge of that drop off. Let it go to the bottom. And then we'll just kind of slowly work it back. We'll see what happens. What makes it great where I'm fishing at is there's a lot of good shallow water, but there's also a lot of deep water. So at the bottom of the lake just drops out. These fish have a escape route. There he is. It's a little one. And when I was fishing here last year, I was bringing in a big red ear. My sister was fishing with me, and I saw something boil behind him. And just as she took that dip net to get that red ear, she got that net underneath him, that bass, that old big old bass, come up there and tried to eat that red ear. Tried to knock that red ear out of that sack. You should have heard her scream, boy. But that says something, because that red ear was it was a big fish for a bass to try to put that around his mouth. I got another one, boys and girls. Here we go. I don't know about y'all, but if you don't like this, there's something wrong with you. Look at that. Look at that. Hello, supper. Ooh, get back in there. Well, there, act like he didn't want to go in there. I think he had premonition what's to come. There he is. There's another one. Oh, yeah. Thing about this spot I'm fishing, you can actually get to it by bank. I mean, man, that's a big female. Wow. Oh, that's a male. That's a male. He's just light in color. So, get in there with your buddies. Say hello, boys. They're like a bunch of frat boys in there. They're having a party. Oh, yeah, now we're talking. Went over to see the grandkids last night. And, man, they cried wanting to come home with me. And I was like, well, Pawpaw's going fishing. I'd take them with me, but they're a little rambunctious. They haven't been taught how to be very still being in the boat, and plus I don't have no life jackets for them. I didn't want to take any chances, especially when you got hooks and little ones running around. They don't work very well. There we go. Their mom and dad don't fish like I do, so they hadn't been taught to. Oh, golly, are you serious? I just lost one. That was a nice hit, too. Oh, and picked up another one on the way in. Another female. These females here on this edge has got a female every time I fish that edge. That's all I caught on that edge. These females are staging back here. I think the males are up there in that more shallow water, so we're going to move in just a little bit closer. Since it's there, he is. Exactly what I thought. They're up there in that more shallow water. Yeah. Yeah, that was crummy. I caught some bait. That thing don't want to get off that jig. All right, well, let's see what we can do here. Yeah. It is a lot slower today than it had been last couple of days. As soon as that thing hit the water. Sometimes there's a happy medium you have to really be careful with in that shallow water. See right there, it's another little one. Okay. So I know up there is a bunch of little ones. If I catch another little one way up there, I know I'm gonna have to back off. A lot of times in the real super shallow water, that's where the little bitty ones is gonna be. And these bigger fish are gonna be more in that mid-range. So we've already concluded that back here in that 5-6 foot of water, it's where those females seem to be staging. I think them males are staying in 2 to 3 to 4 foot of water. So I don't need to cast quite so far. There it is. I don't see it. This here is a better one. Feels like it. I just don't need to get up there in that super shallow. Yep, that's a male. Not a great big male. We'll let him grow up. Thank you for the fun. Regardless, it's fun. Oh, that one almost jerked the rod out of my hand. Yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. Oh no, right at the boat. Are you serious? Not quite got him in, folks. That's why I say it's called fishing, not catching. I'm hoping today I can get a lot of good video. That's my plan. So we'll see what happens. Oh, watching real close here. I'm fixing to go over to that dock and we'll see if any of those big bluegill are laying over there. They got this cafe that hangs over the water. And right below that cafe, if the loading and unloading the boats isn't too bad, man, you can go over and catch some whoppers over there. And I guess it's because those folks feed them. I'm kind of like, they feed them fish. I'd be glad to let them fish feed me. Oh, there he was. There he was. Nice fish, nice fish. Let's see what's over here. Let's see, last year, I was catching fish all the way to August, which is really unusual to catch a lot of red ear and bluegill all the way to August like that in a lot of the shallow water. I was really surprised. A lot of times you got to go head for that deeper water to catch them. Let's see what happens if I do that. There he is. It's little. We're going to have to move out of this spot. I'm not catching the big ones like I was yesterday. Might have caught them all out of here yesterday. Put a hurt on them. May have to give this spot a whole week or so to simmer down. It was really funny because I found this spot. I didn't catch many the other day. But that's when I caught those big ones, was on Monday, and that's when I lost my phone. Well, over where I was catching those big ones, I caught 20. So I went up there and cleaned what little ones I had. I decided to leave this bay and go to another spot. Went over and I caught a couple. Come back, had to use the bathroom, and we decided I'd go ahead and fish right here. And that's whenever I caught like 42 right here. Oh my goodness. Almost jerked that rod right out of my hand. There he is. He came back. Woo! Hello. Oh, nice fish. Oh my gosh. Whenever you see them from the bottom like that. Oh yeah. Oh, please stay on. Look at what a bluegill, would you? Look at that thing. I mean, he takes up my whole hand. That is the kind of fish I would like to catch on a regular basis. However, I like fishing, having fun, so I'm going to catch what I can catch when I can catch them. For a lot of people, we're just catching a few, bring home a few. I'm bringing home enough that I could feed the whole family with it. It just seems like a while ago when I said something about that mid-range, that seems to be where those little bigger males are laying. Cast up there too shallow, and I'm catching those little bitty ones. Now, yesterday, we were casting up in that super shallow water. That's where we was catching all of them. Okay. So, let's move. Man, that was a nice fish. Let's move right over here underneath this cafe dock. Just have to keep my eye out for traffic because the cafe is closed right now. I think the only time it opens on the weekends, generally on after Memorial Day. Memorial Day is usually the kickoff for the so-called season. But to me, fishing's in season year-round. Now, let's see what we got here. Amazing with all the boats that they have up here. The money that it takes to slip one of these things and keep them. I don't know how people do it. I mean, I can't do it. Always wanted a houseboat, and then I got to thinking, well, with a houseboat, you'd have to slip the thing. There he is, right where I thought. Oh yeah, come on, buddy, show me the money. I wish they'd have a bluegill tournament up here. They have crappie tournaments and catfish tournaments and, of course, bass tournaments. And I've yet to see them have a bluegill tournament. I'd love to do that. Only problem is I have a real hard time turning them loose. Because I'd rather eat them than turn them loose. That's the reason why I'm out here. There's a hit. And those fish are right there. Seem to be right on that little drop. Let's see if I can turn this boat all the way around. Amazing how there's fish at these boat ramps. I just don't understand it. One year, I fished a boat ramp. I didn't take the boat. It was during Memorial Day at one of the campgrounds. And I just started casting right there by the dock while people were loading and unloading. I was catching some monster red ear. And it was just unreal the size of these things that was coming out of that water. Big red ear. Caught so many I had to stop fishing. There he is. There's fish right here. Another little female. See where my boat's sitting right now. I'm casting about 2 to 3 foot of water. The boat's sitting in 10. So right where they load and unload the boats at, it drops off. Of course, that's so they don't hit their outboards. Dang, man, that was a hit. Ooh. That was a good hit, man. But again, like I said before, the problem with fishing places like this, you're really catching them. Everybody under the sun watches you. Just because they're watching me don't mean that they can do this. Because I've done that before. Lord have mercy. This one's pulling. Ooh, big boil. Hey, big boy. Say hello to my live well. And that's the way to they didn't have to touch him. Oh, it's fun.